Welcome back to another episode of the Offer Mojo Show, where we talk all about crafting, scaling, selling, and marketing your aligned and profitable offers. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm so excited for this. We're going to kind of go back to what I would consider before you even craft an offer. And one of the things that I talk a lot about is understanding your genius, your brilliance, what makes you really unique, and crafting offers from that place. Because when we don't lean into how we are uniquely wired, the offers fall flat. They will fall flat for you. You won't enjoy delivering them. You won't enjoy selling them, and they will fall flat for your audience. So I have a really special guest that is coming with us today, and we're going to be talking about gene keys and the pearl sequence. I'm going to let our guest explain that in just a minute, but I want to introduce her. Kehla is the host of the Built for the Edge podcast, a top 2% globally ranked show with over 500 episodes, and a business coach for spiritually minded female entrepreneurs. Her work centers on helping women trust their own way of seeing, make clearer decisions, and build businesses that actually sustain their lives. Through human design, the gene keys, and intelligent use of AI, Kehla supports entrepreneurs in translating insight into structure so growth feels grounded, intentional, and aligned. And this is exactly why Kehla and I are connected, because you guys know I am all about alignment. I am not a cookie cutter coach at all. For me, it's like anything I craft for my clients is meant for them and how they are uniquely wired. So Kehla, let's start, because there could be people listening right now that this is their first introduction to gene keys. So let's start with that and helping the listeners understand what is gene keys.
Yes, I'm so excited to dive into this with you. We've been having some awesome conversations on my channel as well.
Yes.
So I'm sure that you've heard mentions of human design and maybe gene keys, definitely astrology on the show.
Yes.
And so what we're going to dive into, the gene keys are a synthesis of a couple different systems. So obviously astrology is a big one. If you want to look up your gene keys, let's say you're watching this on YouTube, you're like, I want to follow along because you're a visual person. You can go to the Gene Keys website. All you need is your birth date, time, and location.
Okay.
So the Gene Keys is astrology, and it's also the I Ching system, which is a Chinese divination text. So the I Ching system is numbers 1 to 64. They're known as the 64 hexagrams. And each hexagram has 3 different energetic expressions or frequencies. So there's the shadow state, which is the lower state. There's the gift, and then there's the city, which is the highest expression. So when you look up your gene keys, what you're going to see, and we're going to show you a chart shortly, because we're going to dive into Lori's chart, which is exciting. You're going to see a lot of circles and lines and numbers, and you're going to be like, WTF, this is really overwhelming. I'm not going to lie.
Exactly.
You're going to look at this, you're going to be like, how the F am I supposed to read this right now? Like, I actually don't get it. Just trust me that is a normal reaction. So the gene keys show you, based on like the moment that you were born, your what we call the golden path in the gene keys, and it's like your pathway to illumination. And one of the ways that we approach the gene keys is through the art of contemplation. So this is rooted in Taoism, and the art of contemplation is like with your gene keys, it's not, oh, I need to learn this information and understand it. It's about witnessing how the frequencies that I just mentioned show up in your life and in your business. Because that is ultimately what is going to guide you. You can see, oh my gosh, I'm in the shadow state here, and you can get curious and you can inquire why this is happening. And you can really then have the choice if you're going to integrate that energy and move forward, or, continue the way that you're going. And so it really is an energetic map and how you're designed to operate. And so today, specifically, when we look at Lori's chart, we're going to be going through the pearl sequence. So there's 3 different sequences, and I'll show you in a moment. But in the pearl sequence specifically, that is designed for prosperity and how you are designed to be of service. So naturally, we're diving in there because we want to look at how this language, how these frequencies show up in how you create your offers, how you position yourself, your messaging, all of that. So that's really kind of the quick overarch story of what the gene keys are. And then we'll see a visual in a moment.
So exciting. I know I've pulled like my chart and, I've used AI a little bit to try to understand it, but I'm so excited to just be talking to an expert in this and to be the guinea pig. So obviously you guys are going to learn probably a lot about me, and that's okay. I'm a very authentic and open person. So let's dive into like my chart and help people understand how this can be helpful.
Yes. So just now that we have the visual up on the screen, like what you're looking at is these are your gene keys. This is your golden path. So like I said, lots of circles, lots of lines, lots of numbers, lots of questions that you may have.
Right.
And so I'll just give a quick overview of this. We're going to get right into the pearl sequence. So there's 3 different sequences. They all have a different purpose. So the green that you see here is known as our activation sequence. And this is also known as your incarnation cross in human design, if you're like a human design person. And your activation sequence is like your 4 zones of genius and also how you're most activated in life and business. So I love to go here and look at like if you have certain activations happening in business, how is this showing up for me in my gene keys and integrating that. The Venus sequences are the red spheres, and this is all about relationships. It's all about how you cultivate and curate unconditional love, your triggers, your patterns, intellectually, emotionally, and how that shows up. So I love to use this in terms of what that looks like when you connect with your ideal clients, or how you may be emotionally holding yourself back, or just being in that state of mentally not allowing yourself to go further with connection. And then you have the pearl sequence, which today, this is what we're diving into. The pearl sequence is prosperity, being of service, like I said. And so inside of the pearl sequence, I'll just kind of give a quick breakdown of the anatomy. We have 4 different spheres, and each sphere has its own experience on top of the number that you see inside. So 58, 21, 51, 44, on top of the gene key that is in the sphere. And then we have these words here. So dissatisfaction, vitality, bliss. That's the shadow, gift, and city, like I mentioned earlier. The line is another layer. We won't get deep into that today. And then you're going to see all these lines connecting the spheres. And that's just how these spheres breathe together as a whole within the sequence. So this is just to kind of give you the breakdown of the anatomy of like what you're looking at. So before I dive into your pearl sequence, Lori, do you have any questions about what I just shared, or does that feel pretty clear? Or even if you're like, my audience might want to ask this.
Well, I just know that this is, for me, it's just like a bunch of like mumbo jumbo, right? And so when I look at this, I'm thinking, okay, great. What does this mean? Like I have no idea what 58.2 and 21.1 and none of that. So for me, I'm going to be able to respond better when you start like interpreting this for me.
Yes. So literally what you just shared was so perfect, because if everyone else is at that point, this is exactly where we need to be to get into this conversation. So the fact that you're like, okay, I get the anatomy, but what do the numbers mean? That's where we're going right now. So we're going to dive into each of the spheres and have a conversation about it. So I'm glad I checked in with you, because if you're like, even the listeners or the watchers, and you're like, I don't get it, just you're here exactly where you need to be. So we're going to journey through the pearl sequence together, Lori, and I'm really looking forward to this. And we're going to start in the vocation sphere. So your vocation in astrology human design is your Mars planet. Okay. So your vocation in the gene keys is like your biggest core wounding, but it's also here to be your biggest and greatest talent in what you share. So people are always like, I don't know what it is that I bring to the table. If you go and you look at and sit with your vocation sphere, like that's going to share a lot with you.
I feel like I know what mine is, and I'm so curious to see what you say.
Yes. Okay. So again, we have the 44th gene key, right? So gene key, we've got the shadow of interference. We have the gift of teamwork and the city of synarchy. And if everyone's like, what the fuck is this? Oh my God, I just swore. I hope that's okay.
That's okay. It's fine. I don't care.
That's like a classic Kehla move. Anyways, so when you look at your vocation and you're like, this is my greatest talent that I'm here to bring to the table. So in the shadow state, it's like you're supporting clients. When we look at the shadow state of interference, it's like, how are they interfering with their genius? Where is it that they've got their fingers and all these different outlets? And it's like, they don't trust themselves, they're not listening to their body. And you're really here to help them create that teamwork experience where they're connecting with themselves or connecting with their purpose, their mission of what it is that they're doing in their business. And then the synarchy is obviously like the harmony between that connection and that teamwork actually playing out. So it's interesting because obviously with the offer creation and scaling that you do, it's like you kind of have to get people to literally connect with their genius and get out of their own way in many ways to really create that synarchy so that they can have something that they can scale and share with people. So I'm curious how that's landing for you and if that's what you had in mind or if it's a different angle than you expected.
So let me just respond to that a little bit. So I feel like if I look at my shadow, and I've just recently, I think this past year, really connected with this. My shadow is that I have never felt seen or valued for the work and the gifts that I have to offer this world. This goes back, even into childhood. And what that's created for me is just this constant drive to be ambitious and to show up and to keep trying to prove my expertise, which always backfires for me. And so that shadow side of not feeling seen and valued is exactly what I do with my clients. Is I help them see and value who they are uniquely. To me, it is so important for them to see the amazing gifts that they have to offer this world and to help them bring those gifts and that uniqueness into the world in a way that impacts not only their lives, but their clients' lives and ultimately the world. And that's all of that I do. My whole process is about being seen. It's about positioning your business and your offers to stand out. It's about, visibility plans that align with who you are so that you can be seen. It's about speaking language that resonates with your audience so that they see you and value you. I mean, I feel like the whole thing is just wrapped up together. I don't know if that's what that says, but I feel like that is me.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that, let's say, for example, when you were caught in that state of needing to prove yourself or be louder or work harder, whatever it is, that's the interference between you actually being able to see and value yourself.
Right.
So then it's like the way that you work with clients is for them to move through that and for them to take that authority away that you need to prove yourself in order to be seen. Then suddenly they get to teamwork with their actual genius and focus on what that means to get that out into the world. So that's really the interference piece is the noise that is showing up and interrupting your natural rhythm, your natural way of being self-expressed because you're too busy enforcing ways to be seen and heard by your ideal clients, for example. So that's when you were saying that, that's how I was reading it into your vocation. So it's different language, different words, but similar frequencies, right?
Yeah. The other thing I would say, and again, the teamwork piece of it, I know that we've talked about, teaming up with your genius and teaming up with, ideal clients and so forth. But one of the things that I'm really, really strong in is bringing together a team to ultimately complete a goal. I am very, very good with managing people, managing a team, making sure things get done, building deep relationships and creating harmony with the team to get it done. So it's it's not all me. It's okay, this person's helping me with this, because I bring in people's like unique geniuses and their different geniuses to develop a team that helps me do what I do.
Yes.
And I'm
So
just good
that's,
with like managing people and managing team.
yeah, so that would be the synarchy, right? That coherence and that harmony and that connection. So it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting because like when we back out, look at the whole Pearl sequence, it's about being of service and it's about creating prosperity. And when I say prosperity, I don't just mean dollar signs. Like
Right.
we're looking at the prosperity and the connection between people within a team. Like that is a prosperous experience. It's
Mm-hmm.
richness in relationships, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna continue to like move through this to get the whole
Okay.
picture. But
All
I
right.
think you just gave like a really great example of like how this shows up for you. And obviously, you know, I had different language than you, but we're still speaking about the same frequency, but just using different words, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from their vocation, we move into, we're going to go over to the culture sphere. And
Okay.
the culture sphere is your, like how I describe it is kind of like your work culture. It's like the culture of your business. It's the
Okay.
ambience of your business. And this is the ambience that you have within your business is ultimately what is going to connect you with your fractal line of like the women or the ideal clients that you are destined to work with. So this, it's like the vibe, for example, of how you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be connecting with the people that you're meant to help. So the 51st gene key, it's funny because in human design, it's known as the gate of shock. And it's like the
gate of
initiate.
shock.
Yeah, the
Okay.
gate of shock. Or, you know,
Okay.
just being able to shock people. So when we go from the shadow of agitation, initiative, and awakening, is even the way that you talked about just how you curate, cultivate teams, and then also supporting clients individually with what it is that they're building in their business. It's if we all, I mean, we can all relate to this as entrepreneurs, the agitation of like, why the F is this not working? Like
Right.
just the irritation, like you've got like thorns in your pants, like it's so annoying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is that usually you can use that agitation as an excuse, or that can become an initiative for you to really continue moving forward, right? So that
Right.
initiative to awakening, it is this like, this is annoying and it's agitating, but then it's like, well, what is this guiding me into? I don't want to say pushing me into, but like, what is this guiding me into? Where am I being pulled? And that's where the awakening is. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way that you talked earlier about how you're not doing cookie cutter strategies, you are really focused on helping your ideal clients get seen and paid for the work that they do and how they support their clients. Like that is it, you have to awaken to your own genius to be able to articulate it, to put it out into the
Yes.
world. So that's really
Yes.
how the culture sphere, based on like what you're sharing with me and how this can show up in your business. I'm curious what's coming up for you with me saying that.
Well, okay. So when I think about like, you know, the agitation, one of the things that I've done in 2025 and, you know, and continue to do now is really pay attention to where I'm feeling agitated in my business and what it's pointing me to. Like, what is this telling me about myself? And what is it like pulling me into? And I'll give you an example. One of the things that has agitated me a lot is social media. It's like I have this love hate relationship with social media. I love to express, I love to get in a zone where my ideas just come out and I share the wisdom I have, I don't know, just something that I see or whatever. But I get very agitated because, social media just pulls all your content down. Like it's very difficult to fight the algorithms. And so it's like, okay, people aren't even seeing what I'm sharing. And so I get frustrated. But for me, what that's done, it's made me start saying, is social media really where you need to be showing up? Is this really the way you are going to best like grow your business? Because I don't know, is even though I think I write well, I express myself well, I'm also really good in connections, like one-on-one connections like this, podcast episodes, um, coffee chats where I can get like really deep and intimate with somebody and like really allow someone to experience my energy. And I've found that the majority of the time that my offers sell is because I have some type of personal relationship with them. More often than not, it doesn't come from content. I mean, it has in the past, but more often than not, it's like, okay, this person has met me somewhere along the way, and now we're in a relationship. And I've also learned that agitation with social media last year that I love strategic collaborations. Like, I love them. Like, it just feeds my soul. And so it makes me like move towards like, fuck social media. Like, let me just move towards something that I really love and that I really am good at and that feeds my soul. So that's
Yeah.
what comes up for me when we talk about that, just the agitation initiative. I don't even know if I'm even remotely close to what this is about.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that shows up. It's the agitation of social media has then put you in a place of initiative where you're deciding where you're going to put your energy. And then because of that, it put you in positions where you realize, I love strategic collaborations. I love coffee chats. Like, that is an awakening and a realization of this is where I'm meant to be to cultivate my business and how I want to experience myself and my clients be received inside of it. So I can absolutely see that. And it's funny because even when you said like the love-hate relationship with social media, like that 51 of that gate of shock is kind of sparky. Like, it's like, oh, I love this. Oh, I hate this. Like, it's very, which can be a lot. And again, it always leads to the awakening. Like, it is a grand shaking, right? So yeah, I can see how that absolutely lands for you. So let's move up into
the one other comment I want to make about this, like the gate of shock, is when I am really, really aligned with me and I am just like in a really, really good energetic space and my creativity is flowing, like I am kind of the one that just shocks. Like, I am not afraid to just like say like what's on my mind in that moment. And it just comes from a place of like flow. And it usually comes out as people going, yes, oh my God, yes, instead of like watering down and creating vanilla content. And so one of the things that I'm having to learn is to only create content when I'm in that space. And that's really, really hard for me because I'm very systematic and, I'm a marketing person. So I understand the importance of consistent content. And so sometimes I think I'm creating from a place of tiredness or just not complete energetic alignment. And then the content falls flat. And then when I just randomly just like, oh, hell, I'm going to go post something on LinkedIn because I got something on my mind. That's the content that does way better.
Yeah. So again, that hot energy of coming in, but then also like trusting yourself that that's the correct timing. Actually, it's interesting because like I was going to dive into your life's work. So we're on Genetic Matrix right now. People are wondering where I got this chart. The Gene Keys website has a better chart and it's free. Like, you can go on there and get it.
Okay.
This life's work in the Pearl sequence, this is actually your brand sphere. It's just I can't toggle to the brand sphere just for like a super nuanced context. So in the Pearl sequence, this is known as your brand sphere. So we're going to talk about that next because you gave some really key components of what you were talking about in terms of like, I want to get into the gift of vitality in a second, but your brand sphere, how this speaks to you into your essence of your business is that your brand is like the impression that you make on others. Mm-hmm. So brand comes from the word brenin. I think it's in Latin if I'm not mistaken, which means like to brand, like to burn, like it's the sun energy. This is also in astrology, your sun planet. So it's very perfectly aligned all together. So your brand sphere is like how you sell your truth, not like not like in typical marketing, like I'm selling and here's this launch strategy. It's more like
Right.
the way that you share and express yourself, right? Your brand, your essence. So
Mm-hmm.
the 58th gene key being here, we're looking at the shadow of dissatisfaction, vitality, and bliss. And one of the really big things with, let's say, your brand in your business is bringing that vitality and that bliss to the work that you
Mm-hmm.
do. So when you
Right.
were just talking about how, I have a really difficult time like generating myself to go post content, and then you kind of have that like shock value of like, I'm going to go do this, and it's like, boom, dropped it on LinkedIn. There's what I was hearing is that level of dissatisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like not satisfying me right now. Like I'm not here for this. But then it's like, how am I going to move so that I can create vitality and like the joy and bliss of showing up in my business, or sharing what's on my mind, or creating this offer, or creating this experience on my podcast, or whatever it is. So a really big part of your work is bringing that vitality to the women that you work with and supporting
Mm-hmm.
them in their own business. And
Right.
so I find that I love using the brand sphere, or even like it's life's work. It's a slightly different conversation when we talk about it from the life's work perspective. But the essence is, if you just really look at like, is this bringing me vitality in life
Mm-hmm.
and in business right now? And if it's not, then it's a fuck no. And like to play that game, like make it that simple, right?
Right.
Because then
Mm-hmm.
you know right away, because it's here, is that you are in alignment with what it is that you're naturally here to share. So I'll just give a quick example where for me in this sphere I have the 36th gene key, and the shadow is turbulence, and then we have humanity and compassion. And so I mean,
Okay.
I know you read my emails and you've seen my content,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times like I will talk about the turbulence of entrepreneurship, and I will
Mm-hmm.
share stories of humanity and how to navigate that with grace and compassion. So it's like that
Yes.
becomes like your brand sphere becomes how you speak and express yourself, because that is your main character energy, for lack of a better word. So I'm curious how the 58, how you feel like that shows up for you.
Okay. Um, Help me understand again. Okay. And I know that I'm not the only person that's like, oh my God, like Kayla's so damn smart. She's like talking over my head. Uh, and that's how I'm feeling like right now. It's like, okay, like slow down. What are we like? What is the
Yes.
58? What is like the vitality, the dissatisfaction? Like I can totally relate when you said in human language, look at what is creating vitality in your life or in your business. And that's how you determine what is a hell yes. And I talk about that a lot. Like if it's not a hell yes, like it's a hell no, right? So I know for me, one of the things that I've had to navigate is I have in my human design, I have emotional authority, right? So how this has shown up for me is I can get very excited very easily and go, oh my God, yes, yes. Oh yeah, I love this. This is so great. Let's do this, right? And I just react and make like these decisions like this. I'm such a fast decision maker. But what I've also noticed lately is like I will be the next day and I'm like, I don't feel so excited about that anymore. Like I've joined communities going, oh yeah, that sounds so good. Like, oh my God, yes, this is for me. And then I get into the community, I'm like, no, like this doesn't feel good. And then I feel guilty because I'm just like, oh shoot, man, now I got to go back to this person. I got to tell them like, I need to cancel this membership. I've done this a lot with so many, like purchasing courses. Oh yeah, like this sounds amazing. Like I purchase a course, like I'm going to do this. And then I'm like, this really isn't like a priority for me. And then I just like never do it. So what I'm learning to do is, for me, that vitality is about, yes, tapping into the excitement of what I'm feeling, but also sleeping on it and staying with it and seeing if that vitality and that excitement like stays. If it doesn't stay, then I need to say, okay, maybe not. Or like even sometimes dissatisfaction. Like I've had it show up where, like, I don't know, like I worked with a coach for a little while and it was fine at that time. But then it reached a point where this person was just annoying me. Like the way they were approaching things and things that they were telling me to do, I'm just like, this is just not me. Like, and I just kept getting triggered and kept getting annoyed until I finally just said, this is just not the coach for me. There's nothing wrong with that person at all. He's a good coach for the right person. He's just not a good coach for me. So I think that's, if I were to respond from a dissatisfaction and a vitality standpoint, it's like really like checking in with how I'm feeling and how my body is feeling and like checking for alignment, but also not immediately reacting and just kind of sitting with it to see where does the energy go? Does the energy continue to get more and more dissatisfied? Is the energy continue to stay excited? Like, you know, when this collaboration, you and I, like, it's just remained like exciting for me. Like, you know, me being on your podcast, you being on mine, like, I've never like once stepped away and gone, ooh, like, why did I like partner with her? No, I'm like, it just remains exciting to me. It feels aligned.
Yes.
So that's how I would respond to that.
Yes. I love how in the beginning you're like, I don't really know. And it's this, that. And then you just totally let yourself go into and explain your experience of how the 58 occurs for you. So that was chef's kiss. I was like, I'm just going to let her talk. And you just like talk yourself all the way through it. Honestly, this is the thing I want everyone to notice right now, because what just happened is so important, is that people will read this and be like, dissatisfaction. Where do I see dissatisfaction in my business? And you try to intellectualize it. But if you actually listen to how you expressed it, it was a somatic experience. You went into, here's my feelings, this is my experience, and my energy was like this, and then it went like that, and therefore, and so you connected to it on a somatic level. Because here's the thing, and I didn't say this earlier, but now this is just an extra nugget of information, is that the gene keys, the word gene is part of your DNA. So there's the 64 hexagrams are also connected to the 64, you know, chromosomes. Like there's codon rings, like there's actually science behind this. And I never talked that much about it because I haven't studied that deep into the science of the gene keys. Okay. But as much as we think like, oh, it's an energy thing, or I can like cognitively understand this, it really is a genetic expression of your energy. So the way that you actually took yourself out of your head when I said, how does the 58 show up for you? And you sunk into your body, and then you could express the experience that you've had for it. Right. So I wanted to name the way that you were processing so that people see the difference rather than trying to force an answer. Let yourself be in the experience. Yes. So I think that that's something that was like really noticeable when you were sharing. I was like, I'm going to name this because this can be really helpful for people who are new to the gene keys.
Yes, it's important. We have to get out of our head. We have to like get into our body. Like it's funny because when I do a lot of therapy too. And I love my therapist. She's like, you know, very somatic, very, you know, grounded. And, you know, I start into a session and I'm just like, and she's always like, let's stop for a moment. Let's ground yourself. Let's get into your body. And, you know, as soon as she says that, I'm like, okay, here comes the emotions. I know. I'm going to like get into my body and the real stuff is going to come out, not the stuff that's up here in my head. So it is so important to be in our bodies and to really like process from that place.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it. Okay. We're going to go into the last sphere here, the pearl.
Okay.
So your pearl is what we call like your pearls of wisdom inside of the pearl sequence. And what I love about the pearl is that the intention of it is to really get you grounded in the present and the simplicity that prosperity is always around you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a certain number to make in your business. It's not a certain number of clients that you need to have. It's not the specific outcomes. It really is the being in the present moment of the experience that you're having. So if you're like, Kehla, what the F are you saying right now? Like, let's get into it. So 21 is the gene key that sits in here for you. When we look at the shadow of control, then we have authority and velour. So when it comes to prosperity, whether it's prosperity in your business, in your relationships, financially, whatever it is, whenever we are trying to control things, it's going to constrict the natural flow of prosperity in any area of your life, and especially in your business. You're trying to control the algorithm, you're trying to control this launch or this collaboration or whatever it is. And authority and velour, I love this because it kind of ties back into what we were talking about in terms of the proving energy when we were getting into the vocation. Authority, like control, is like, I need to control how people see me because you think that'll give you authority. But the irony is that you can just be an authority without needing to control anything, which is kind of a mindfuck. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But when you allow yourself, and again, this also ties back into what you were saying, the work that you do with clients around showing them how to see themselves. You can't be an authority without actually witnessing yourself, like fully seeing yourself without conditions of how you think you need to be in your life or in your business. So that ultimately is, that authority is like the seeing yourself, that self-declaration without proving yourself. And that velour is really standing in, or velour is really being able to stand in that energy of just like, I'm imagining this like straight statue, like the strong essence and presence where there's nothing more to do. There's nothing more to prove. It just is. And so it's like the complete absence of control because you already know that you have control in the first place. It's like a very paradoxical thing to think, but it's true. Where you think you need to force controls, you think you don't have control, but if you stop white knuckling the steering wheel, you'll actually realize that you're already driving the fucking car. Like that's really what it is. So I'm curious how the 21st gene key in the pearl, the way that I'm sharing about it, how this is landing for you.
Oh God, it's like my major theme in my life and in my business. For someone who is, me, I'm a marketer, right? I have a lot of experience in branding and marketing and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm very strategic. So I think, okay, well, let me just strategically figure out how to grow my business. Let me do what all of my marketing knowledge tells me I should do. Let me just, follow all of the rules and just stay in control of this because, hey, I'm an expert. I know what I'm doing. It's like the universe says, no, the fuck you don't. It's like it says, this isn't the answer. Controlling this is not the answer. My whole theme in the last month to two has just been, let it go. Just let it go. I literally have been saying this abundance prayer like every single day. And it's all about letting go what needs to go, letting me receive what I need to receive. Like it's all about like opening my mind to new ideas, opening my mind to new possibilities. Like, what am I not seeing when I'm in that control energy? Like I feel like, and this is interesting because I was talking to a marketing expert yesterday, and we were just talking about I've titled myself an offer strategist, and it's just like, okay, what I do is just so much more than an offer strategist, but I don't want to blend in. I don't want to be a marketing strategist. I don't want to be a business coach. I don't want those labels. And, I started talking about the work that I do. And she's like, girl, she's like, you do so much more than offer strategy. And it's like, I realize, like, I think this is where what happens for me is I think, what the hell's wrong with you, Lori? Like, you are able to see in everybody else's business, you can look at their business and go, no, we need to position you differently. This is too vanilla. We need to make you stand out. Like, no, that messaging is not going to land for your audience. We need to make this more human and more resonant with your audience. Like, no, like I see it in everybody's business. I can't see it in my own. And so I'm thinking, okay, well then, Lori, are you really an expert? If you can't see it in your own business, like, how can you see it in other people's business? And so that I get into that control piece. And now it's just like, I'm literally like, to show you how serious I am about like letting go of control. Like, I did like a full moon exercise on Sunday. I wrote down all my fears. I wrote down all of the beliefs that are keeping me stuck. I wrote down old patterns that I'm like ready to let go. And like, I just read them to my spouse under the moon. She's like laughing. I'm like ready to punch her because she had 4 things on her list. I had like 2 pages. And I'm like, dang, I said, you're so perfect. And she's like, you got 2 pages? Like, I'm like, yes, like I am in touch with myself. I know like what is holding me back. And I read them under the moon. We then burned the paper. And it was just like, I'm letting go. Like, the new lunar cycle is coming. I am so over this shedding snake energy. Like, I just want to like get rid of it and cleanse. And I purged all of my files over the weekend, just cried, read like letters that I'd written to my son before he left for college. And oh my God, it was just such a purging experience. But that's what I want to feel in my business. Like, yeah. I just want to like create from pure joy and be surprised at the unexpected that just comes into my life because I have let go of control.
Yes. Yeah.
So
no, that's beautiful. The way that you talk about the pearl and the control and just letting go of the control is you being an authority of what actually gets to decide how things go and how you experience life. And one of the other things that I wanted to say, human design, I'm sure you've shared like you're a 2/4 emotional projector and I'm a 6/2. So the 2 line has a very difficult time seeing their own genius. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. So that it's very easy to see, the genius in that in others and businesses and so on, like you said, but it's like when the mirror is held up to us, like it's really the 2 line is designed to be called into their genius where people will notice it, which makes sense why the way that you operate, the way that you have your business. Right. And so I share that with compassion because it is quite annoying, but it's funny. And we didn't really talk about AI either, but I know that you use AI a lot, but that's the way that I've been using ChatGPT for almost 2 years now is consistently asking questions for, my blind spots or, when I put in transcripts from coaching calls or master classes I've led, I'm always looking for patterns and looking for what it is that I'm doing that I'm not seeing that's consistent and effective. And therefore that's my way of being able to see myself. Because even though it's like, I don't see it, and people are like, well, ChatGPT is telling you, it's telling me based on the transcripts of the words of the things that I've done and said. And all of a sudden, genius is being mirrored back to me. So anyways, that's kind of a little plug for people.
Yeah, it's funny because the person I was talking to yesterday, she said, you need to get in calls with your clients and ask them, what is the value that you're really getting from me and our work? And like listen to it so that like how to talk about your work, because I feel like sometimes I limit, like I just focus on like the offer. And it's like, and my work is so much deeper than
Yes.
that. So yeah, I think it's the same thing. It's like you're just taking the transcripts of workshops or, client calls or whatever, feeding them into ChatGPT, and it's telling you, so.
Yeah.
Well, I will confirm for you, for your little 2-line, that you are a genius at what you do. You are really, really good at what you do, and you have major gifts to offer this world. And I'm just honored to be in 2 podcast episodes with you. I learned so much from you. I love your content too on social media. So even sometimes it goes over my head, but I still like it.
Thank you, Lori. It's been it's been really great having these conversations with you. And you take the time to respond to some of my emails, which I don't take that lightly, because, like, not gonna lie, I send a lot of fucking emails because I love emailing, and I don't get a lot of response, but it's the joy of writing and like putting it out and knowing like people are sitting at their computer like, damn, like she called that out. And yeah, they're not going to respond, but they're going to feel it. And that's what I trust.
And you know what? I think I respond because, yes, 1, I feel it. And 2, I know what it feels like to pour my heart into sending out emails and providing value, and nobody like responding. I mean, once in a while, you get someone, but it's like, I'm creating these emails for you, my friend.
Yes. Yes.
But anyway, I don't need to prove, my expertise. That's something I'm letting go of. And if my work resonates with someone, fantastic. If it doesn't, that's okay too.
Yeah. So I think one thing I want to say before we wrap things up is just with the whole emailing thing. And let's say, because I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. It's like, oh my God, I podcast and I email and I post and I don't get a lot of response. But you'll see the clicks and you'll see the opens, or maybe, you don't see as much as you want. But the thing is, let's say, for example, today, rather than doing something for instant or external gratification, it's looking at, okay, you could take your gene keys, for example, and say like, okay, I'm going to write this email. I'm going to do this post. Like, am I really embodying and sharing my wisdom inside of what it is that I'm creating? And suddenly you become more focused on the process and your self-expression over trying to control how it's going to land with the reader.
Yes.
So I just wanted to share that to kind of like tie in today's entire conversation on how you can come back to your gene keys, connect with your genius, and look at and have fun with how do I want to express this? How do I want to share this? Especially with the Pearl sequence, literally designed about being of service. So I just wanted to tie that all into a little bow.
All of the content ideas for me that has come from like this conversation alone.
Yes.
So I know that you have I think it's an ebook, right?
Oh, yes.
The Pearl ebook. Tell us about that.
Yes. So the Actualize Your Genius with the Pearl ebook is specifically everything that we went through today. So that like once you download the ebook, it's 71 pages, by the way. You'd be like, holy shit, Kehla. But you will literally understand how to go through your Pearl sequence and really cultivate your genius and your gifts and how you're designed to be of service. And even if you're super new to the Gene Keys, grabbing this ebook as a gift will continue the conversation that we started today, so that you don't just have to be like, oh, that was a cool conversation between Lori and Kehla. No, you can actually get the ebook. And I have a GPT with the ebook to help you have an interactive experience with what it is that you've read, so that you can continue to contemplate your Pearl sequence and how that's going to show up and how you can implement that wisdom into your business.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I will have that link in the show notes and on my blog if you want to go there. Any other place, like where is the best place to follow your work besides your podcast, Built for the Edge? That's probably one of the best. Where else do you hang out?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Kehla G. I'm on LinkedIn, but not really. Like, I'm professionally posted on LinkedIn. And I recently started writing pieces on Substack every Thursday. So what I'm writing there isn't what you're going to find on my emails or in my podcast. Like, it's totally unique. And it's like, they're super short, 3 to 5 minute reads, but just really to orient where you stand in your business and how things are going for you. And those are my main places
Okay.
of where I play. Yeah. And then
Perfect.
my website, KehlaG.com. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So thank you again, Kehla, for this. I hope everyone enjoyed that. And but I think more than anything, I hope it inspires you to dive into the ebook, to dive into your own gene keys and really just align with your own genius. So thanks again.